here on Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel. Reaction to Tuesday night's SEC basketball games. Arkansas goes hog wild in Baton Rouge, 91-62 for the Hogs. They get the victory. And Vanderbilt goes on the road and wins at Auburn. Nice performance from the Commodores, bounce back after that Oklahoma game. So, and talk about both of them. You guys hop on in and have some fun in the chat. Max, our non-SEC game of the day. We almost got there with Nebraska, but Purdue wins it in overtime. So, there you go.
I will apologize up front. I'm having some internet issues, so if I get choppy, I am having some issues. Unlike ranked teams on the road in the SEC, Blake, no issues there. Come on. The alarms were flying in the previews. Okay, we got 2 ranked teams on the road. This could get a little testy. Not so much, Max. You calm down right there. Let the guys take care of business.
Yeah. All right, you guys keep us updated in the chat. If you notice any technical issues, let us know. We can't always see it on our side whenever we're doing this. So keep us updated. I have no doubt that Sam Smith will do just that. So if there's the slightest issue, he will let us know. All right. I mean, there's a lot of Arkansas people in the chat. There's some Auburn people as well. But let's just go ahead and quickly touch on Arkansas and LSU before we get to the game of the night. Yeah, Arkansas, again, 91-62. The Hogs just absolutely dominated this game. I mean, this is exactly what we said. If you were an Arkansas fan, you wanted to see them come out, handle the business here, just like they did at Mississippi State. Still down DJ Wagner and Carter Knox, but Max had another one to the list here. LSU got A-cuffed. They got A-cuffed. 28 points for Darius Acuff, 12 of 18 from 2 in this game. That is a remarkable stat for someone who plays in the SEC. But he goes for 28. Malik Thomas goes for 20. Think about how much we'd be talking about Malik Thomas if he didn't play on Darius Acuff's team. Brazile goes for 14 and 12 with 5 and 4. This man was almost halfway to a quadruple double here. Again, 14, 12, 5 blocks, 4 steals. This man just did everything in this game. 37 minutes for Brazile. No surprise, he's the Ken Palm MVP for this one. Billy Richmond with 13 points, 5 rebounds, a couple blocks in this game. You had some valuable minutes off the bench from Pringle and Ewan and Seeley. Yeah, the Hogs just they took it to an LSU team, still down Dean Thomas, and just a lost season at this point for the Tigers.
Yeah, I don't want to minimize how impressive this was for Arkansas, though. It may be no Dean Thomas. It may be rough times in Baton Rouge with Matt McMahon and his squad right now. But you listen to John Calipari's postgame press conference, and he doesn't normally come out and say, hey, we played really, really, really good tonight. And he was impressed with every area of the game. The thing I was impressed the most is not stats, no stats at all. Just the way that the guys are playing right now. No Carter Knox, no DJ Wagner. I feel like that just gets shrugged off when you have guys like Acuff and Thomas and Brazile playing elite basketball for 37 minutes, not wanting to come out at the end of the game. But we always have these conversations, Blake, of like, is depth overrated? When is depth needed? At what position? How do you value depth? I think it's like in game playing, the ability to play 10, 11 guys. I think that's a little bit overrated. I think in game, that's those 7-ish, give or take a player rotation is perfect. But it's the depth being able to lose a few guys and still have an elite 7 guys to play. That's where this depth is really being shown here for Arkansas. And Cal said it. He said, my best teams are when I only play 6 or 7 guys because they can't make those silly hand check fouls. They can't gamble. You don't have the wiggle room for it. You don't have the margin for error. And you learn to play off each other a little bit better. Matt McMahon said that was the best off-ball movement I had seen from Arkansas all year. So you get this feeling, Blake, that the team is as connected as it's been all year.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I don't think you need 10 guys playing every game to like get a chance to win, especially when your top level guys are Darius Acuff and when Brazile's on the way he was last night and Malik Thomas. Like, you don't want to take those. Like, you don't want to just say, "Hey, we got depth. We're going to play every." Because guess what that means? You got to take those guys off the floor at some point. You don't want to do that. So, yeah, like I think you're right. Like it's nice to have, especially when it comes to injuries and all that kind of stuff, just to give some guys a breather. Let's say a guy's been out for 2 games with injury, he comes back, he's probably not going to play 40 minutes. Like all those little situational type things, it's good to have depth. But if you're talking, hey, it's one game, win or go home against Duke or something, like we don't need to be playing 10 guys. Like we need to be playing our guys, the ones that have got us here and all that. So yeah, I don't think there's much to add there. There was a question if you want to look. I don't have a lot to add in this game. I mean, Arkansas won by almost 30 points here, but I know the question was asked of. I know that's kind of the debate back about Arkansas shooting, their 3-point shooting. So here's my theory on that. If you look at Arkansas's best shooting performances this season, yes, like from a statistical standpoint, like they're still in the top 40, I think. But, if you look at their past, 3 of their last 4 games, they've shot 12%, 21%, and 25% against Oklahoma, Kentucky, and LSU. But, like, I almost say there's one thing I think you just kind of look at with this team. Like, some of their best shooting performances this season, right? They've had a bunch of good ones, and yes, they've shot it better. But remember that still some weight is being carried by some of those early season 3-point shooting performances too, Max. Like games where you make 10 against Southern, 13 against Central Arkansas. It's like you make 11 against Fresno State, 14 against Queens, 15 against James Madison, 10 against Ole Miss, 10 against LSU, right? So, and I know they just shot it poorly against LSU, but some of those that were leaning up the numbers a little bit were against teams that are not tremendous teams. And so the defense gets a little bit better in SEC play. Teams are locked in a little bit more. So, like, you're going to have some of those games in SEC play where you just don't shoot it very well, right? I mean, you could point out the Georgia game, too. They go on the road and, they fought 21 from 3. There have been good games as well. Like, again, we can point out the fact that, all right, they shot it well against, I mentioned LSU against Vanderbilt. They shot it well, 9 of 22. But I don't know that this was ever going to be viewed as like one of the best shooting teams in the country overall, just with the individual makeup of this team. But I think they were outperforming those numbers for a very long time. But I think when you get an SEC play, you're going to have games like this. And you're going to have stretches where unless you've just got like lockdown shooters who are just, doing what Ruben and all that can do, I just think that's the issue. So.
Yeah, and you have to put it into a little bit of perspective of, like, don't put all your weight into just looking at the percentage that Arkansas is shooting, because they're the lowest 3-point shooting volume team in the SEC. They attempt the fewest threes. So if you go on like we're on right now, it's about a 4-game stretch here. You did go 8 of 22 against Mississippi State, but Oklahoma, Kentucky, and LSU surrounding that Mississippi State game, 2 threes, 3 threes, and 3 threes. You just go through one little stretch like that, you're already shooting such a small amount of threes compared to the rest of the league that it's going to look a lot worse than it is. They have not shot more than 24 3-point attempts in an SEC game yet. 24 is the most against Ole Miss on January 7th. So I think it's just a little bit of a 2-week dry spell, but I'm not really worried whatsoever. You had a little bit of lineup changes, a little bit more focus on off-ball movement. The 2-point percentage offense is as efficient as it gets in the league. So I'm not too worried. There's a little slump there, but I'm not worried.
Well, and it's not like, it's Brim says, it's not like the volume. You don't need Arkansas shooting 35 threes a game either. So
nope.
They're just not the kind of team that needs to do that. So
yeah,
there you go. All right. Well, we're both having internet issues. Thanks, Holly, for the note. Like, we're both having issues with our internet this morning, so there's not a whole lot we can do. about that at the moment. But unless you guys want to leave a super chat, nice big super chats allows us to go buy a studio somewhere, and Max and I won't have our home internet be a pain anymore. But
how's the weather? How's the weather down there?
I mean, it was 75 yesterday. Today it's supposed to be 50. So, the internet's shaking a little bit by the cold.
Yeah,
So
see, the bracket bunker, it doesn't do well with extreme temperature differences. We need a steady bracket bunker here.
it's like the difference between Georgia and Georgia Tech, is what I would say, with the weather in these 2 days. So
that was hilarious. I probably watched that clip back so many times.
Yeah, if you want to go to our Twitter at 16 Southeastern, it's just our name reversed. You can see our clip from that Georgia Tech interaction yesterday on Bracketology. Speaking of Bracketology, Arkansas moving in the right direction. They get Auburn at home on Saturday. We'll talk about an important game for Auburn. And then Arkansas is at Alabama. Arkansas has one of the toughest schedules left, I think, of anybody in the SEC. It's not necessarily easy, but the good news for Arkansas is 4 of those games are at home. So, and they don't have a bad loss opportunity left. They just got rid of those in the past, 5 games where they had LSU twice, Oklahoma, Mississippi State. Not a single bad loss opportunity left on the schedule. Auburn, Alabama, Missouri, A&M, Florida, Texas, Missouri. So, good news for Arkansas. So, there you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, fantastic.
LSU, meanwhile, we just won't even talk about their upcoming schedule.
Man.
They're at Tennessee. They're at Texas. Home against Alabama. Brutal. All right. Yeah, by the way, quickly, before we get into the next game here with Vanderbilt. Yeah, as Chris says, no Jeremiah Wilkinson tonight for Georgia. Which means either you bet the bad news or Florida's winning by 30.
Hold on, though. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds.
No, you've always had something that...
It might be slightly more than 2. But give me multiple seconds here, and I'm going to pull up an image. From if you guys liked our how do I want to call it? The extra graphics that we had, the game preview graphics we had on our Saturday predictions. It's on Twitter. It's UGA Hoops blog. If you want to give him a follow, he's helping us out, and he put out I was shocked by this, Blake. The plus minus for Georgia in SEC play. Look at who's down there at minus 41. Jeremiah Wilkinson. I mean, it's also a product of playing a lot of minutes, and so when you go through a game that you're losing, this is gonna affect your plus minus. But still, I mean, Smurf is playing a ton of minutes. Somto is playing a ton of minutes. I was kind of taken back by this. I was like, wow, Jeremiah Wilkinson, I'm minus 41 in SEC play. Man, I don't mean to get too off topic, but brought it up. I was, wow.
No, I feel like teams they're keying in on him. And it's just, it's the numbers have not been great. So I think it's allowing some of these other guys to have better numbers, but still, it's pretty glaring. I still think Georgia would have a better chance of beating Florida with him than without him. But
oh yeah,
we'll find out.
It was I was like, whoa, that's alarming.
Yeah, we'll find out. All right, let's get to the other game here. And let me see if there's anything else we need to clean up in the comments. I don't think so. Remember, keep your super chats coming. We'll have a nice little super chat section here at the end of the show. But, all right, Vanderbilt goes on the road and wins at Auburn, 84-76. I'm completely wrong about this one. I was sold on Auburn winning this game. I was very confident. But a lot of that, as we said, was going to be predicated on the fouling. And don't worry, Vanderbilt still had, 3 guys foul out. So if you had your over-under on that, they still had 3 that fouled out. That was Jalen Washington, Devin McGlockton, and Mike James. But, I mean, this game, I thought the way it played out early, Vanderbilt just kind of hanging around, and weren't really getting in significant foul trouble. I'm just thinking, Max, okay, this is what they need. And if they were to get hot a little bit here, and they started to. Like Tyler Tanner started making some big plays. Jalen Washington hit some threes. I just thought, yeah, I think it's kind of one of those where this felt like a turning point game for both of these teams. And when you considered Vanderbilt without two good players in Duke Miles and Frankie Collins in a bad matchup statistically, based on what Auburn did the best, and that's getting to the free throw line versus a team that fouls a lot. And you're thinking of what are the chances Auburn loses back-to-back home games? There were so many things to be, I think, against Vanderbilt. And, oh, by the way, don't forget, they just lost at home to Oklahoma. So this one was surprising, but good for the Commodores to go on the road and win.
Steven Pearl said in his postgame, he said, I didn't have 22 points and 2 of 2 from 3, 6 of 6 from the free throw line from Jalen Washington on my bingo card. I don't think anybody did.
No.
But look at what Jalen Washington did. Even though McGlockton fouled out in only 23 minutes and he picked up that fourth foul really early into that second half, he still has a really efficient night. I mean, he goes 4 of 4 from the field. McGlockton and Washington combined for 4 of 4 from 3, 8 of 8 from the free throw line. That's probably the most efficient offensive night from McGlockton and Washington combined all season. I'd be shocked if there was a more efficient night. And then you also get a season high in minutes, 32 from Chandler Bing, and he's not just, defending the lowest points per game guy on Auburn and then going and sitting in the corner and letting Tyler. He's in there with good action. Ended up having didn't make a 3, but ended up having 8 points and an offensive rebound. I liked what I saw from Chandler Bing. I think one of those was an and one. They held down Tyler Nickel. It was good defense. Steven Pearl said they had Tyler Nickel circled on the scouting report, but when it came down to it, frustration, emotions aren't handled. Keyshawn Hall, KO, Steven Pearl, all getting in little scuffles with the ref. I know. So Steven Pearl said his tech that he said that was a big call because it was on a double team with Tanner, and Pearl thought it didn't need to be called, and it came at a really big time when Auburn was closing the gap. The ref said that he cursed at him, and that's why he got the technical. Steven Pearl says I didn't curse, so I don't know. But you can't do that. You can't have that in a single. What was it, a 2 or 3 possession game? You can't have that. You can't be altering the game like that. You got to be able to control your emotions.
I texted you after that and I said, "Ooh, this was like a big one in terms of that right there." And again, there's no guarantee that they win without it, but it was, kind of like, and he said it, like you mentioned, it's a significant call at that point in the game. So, yeah, that didn't help. But like if the Jalen Washington thing quickly, like the last 5 games, Jalen Washington scored a combined 24 points, and he just scored 22 in this game. And so if you're going to be down a couple guys, if you're coming off a loss to Oklahoma, your most disappointing loss of the season, probably one of the most disappointing losses of any team in SEC play, and you need a bounce back, like you got to have performances like that, like you got from Jalen Washington. You got to. And they got it, and that's all that matters. So, I thought we mentioned all the reasons in the preview why this just felt like such a tricky matchup for Vanderbilt based on, again, what Auburn has done well, what Vanderbilt has not done well. But sometimes, again, if you have a guy like Jalen Washington step up, Chandler Bing plays 32 minutes, Tyler Tanner is still Tyler Tanner, I mean, sometimes that's all you need. And, for Auburn, yeah, we're going to keep leaning on the strength of schedule with Auburn, and that's going to help them. Just because if you look at it as a whole, right, they've lost 3 in a row. They're 5-6 in the SEC, but they've lost a road game by 8 at Tennessee, a home game by 4 to Alabama, and a home game by 8 to Vanderbilt. The metrics aren't going to really see that as anything substantial other than you've just lost 3 games. Like, those are not bad losses anywhere in there. So, they go to Arkansas on Saturday. And I just think if you look at their remaining schedule, even if they lose on Saturday at Arkansas and they're on a 4-game losing streak, at Mississippi State, home against Kentucky, at Oklahoma, home against Ole Miss, home against LSU, there is no reason that Auburn should not be finishing very strong in the SEC. Like, they could legitimately finish 5-1 in their final 6 games. So I wouldn't quite jump off the Auburn bandwagon just yet, even if they, again, lose on Saturday at Arkansas, because all things considered, they still have the win at Florida. The home win against Texas is better and better as Texas plays better. The home win against Arkansas is still doing some work. So I think maybe the best way to say it with Auburn is, like, there is a clear ceiling, I think, with this team. I just think the inconsistency is a little bit too much at times, to where I don't know that I'm looking at them. And think about it, Max, in the preseason, we had these same questions with them. Like, this was the team that we probably had the least feel on, not just because of the coaching change late, but just had a lot of questions. And I think we still do at this point, 20-something games into the season.
Yeah, I mean, one of my bold predictions preseason was Auburn's not a top 25 team. Keyshawn Hall last night doesn't play the last, 12 minutes of the game, I think it was. Pearl said that he just wanted to give the best chance, his team the best chance to come back in the game, and they did get it down. I think they got it down to 4.
That's a strange thing, isn't it?
I mean, yeah. Like, basketball wise, he was 3 of 13. He missed multiple layups. He had the technical. I'm not sure if it was, offensively or defensively, really the reason why he was benched. But I mean, that's pretty significant. You had a potential first teamer in a big time game getting benched for the final 12 minutes of it. So, I mean, didn't have that on my bingo card either. A lot of things happen in this game you don't have on your bingo card. One more aspect of this Auburn team that I want to touch on. We had mentioned Tahaad Pettiford's assist to turnover ratio a few times this year, but it's really more of a full team issue now. The analytics at this point in the season, I mean, there's still a lot of time for them to change, but you're getting a pretty good profile of how these teams are finding success and how teams are taking advantage of them. And Auburn's assist rate, the amount of field goals made that they assist on, is 46.8%. That ranks 308th in the nation. That's the lowest mark for Auburn in the history of KenPom, all the way back to 1997. This team is assisting on made field goals at the lowest rate in the history of the analytics. They're not passing the ball. Ball's not moving. It's not popping around. The last few years, it's been incredible. The 2024 year was 12th in the nation. They've been top 100 3 straight years. Now sub 300. So, I mean, that's just a glaring issue of this offense.
All right, so that's where things stand for Auburn. As we said, they're at Arkansas, at Mississippi State. Vanderbilt hosts Texas A&M on Saturday, which I think is another fascinating matchup for them, given if they're still down a couple guards. And then they're at Missouri on Wednesday. So Vanderbilt's got a pretty tough schedule, too, the rest of the way. Don't forget, 4 of their last 7 are going to be on the road, but their last 3 will be on the road after the swap with Ole Miss from Oxford to Nashville. So update 2, from a metric standpoint, Vanderbilt, it's 15 in the net now. They have more quad 1 wins than any SEC team. They have more quad 1 plus quad 2 wins than any SEC team. So for all the talk about, being a little pessimistic with the Commodores after the 3-game losing streak, they lose at home to Oklahoma, the numbers are still pretty good for this team. So, yeah.
This is from Joey Dwyer. This is the first time that Vanderbilt has recorded back-to-back 21 seasons since 2010, 2011.
Yep. Been an interesting decade for Vanderbilt fans, to say the least. So,
also,
yeah.
One last thing. Did you hear about the update on Duke Miles from the broadcast? I think they said, yeah, it was the broadcast said that Duke Miles did not travel with Vanderbilt to Auburn, but Vanderbilt hopes to, and this is the quote, reevaluate his knee after this trip. What does that mean? What does reevaluate after this trip mean? Does that mean that the initial, just a week or two, maybe a few weeks from Byington, does that mean we completely scrap that initial timeline and now we completely reevaluate this entire injury, or what? Because that didn't sound good.
Ask yourself this. When did they say that Frankie Collins was going to be back?
Should have been playing already.
There's your answer. So, do you have any confidence in anything right now? I wouldn't. So, don't know.
I don't know either.
If he played on Saturday, I wouldn't be shocked. If he didn't play for another 2 weeks, I wouldn't be shocked. So, I'm not a doctor. Until I see guys on the floor, I don't even pay much attention to it anymore. So, yeah, it's kind of where we are, unfortunately. But if they get those guys back, I mean, again, this is a team that's still going to be in a pretty good spot. So, yeah.
Justin says he's looking like he's playing Saturday.
If he does, he does. I don't know. So, we have had this same discussion about both him and Frankie Collins at various points this season in live streams, and both guys are out so far. So, we'll see what happens. All right. There you go. Before we jump into some super chats, which you guys need to send on in our way, we're going to tell you about our fine sponsors over at Collar, collar.com. The great performance menswear brand makes polos, button-ups, quarter zips, pants, you name it. Stretchy, affordable, make you look good. Remember, they invented the Workleisure. Stain resistance, comfort, wrinkle resistance, the lightweight, and the price is great. And even better, SEC16 for 16% off over there. collar.com. SEC16, 16% off over at Collar. ROKFORM, ROKFORM.com, the world's strongest magnetic foam case, extreme protection, super strong magnets, rock lock, secure mounting. They've got the phone case accessories, golf accessories, a lot of great stuff over there. Use our code SEC25 for 25% off your entire order over at ROKFORM, SEC25, ROKFORM.com. And Icon Wallets, you get a nice 20% off over there. Premium Napa leather, 3 interchangeable university icons. They are officially licensed collegiate wallets. Find yours and use our code SEC16 for 20% off over at Icon Wallets. All right. That's that. Let's get to some chats here. Leave your super chats if you want to make sure we get to your message, since Justin is a member for 37 months here at the channel. Our longest running member that we have. He says, at this point, I see Vandy's seed ceiling as a 3 and the floor as a 6. If Vandy gets production from Washington and Glock, we're a problem. Go Doors. So the seed range for Vanderbilt, we'll let Max pull up the Torvik percentages here and see where they're at right now. I mean, they could get to a 3 in the best case scenario, just because right now they would probably be slotted as a 5. And when their remaining schedule is tough as it is, that means you're winning quite a few games. So I would say, yeah, 3 is possible. Floor is a 6. Probably, but I could see a slip to a 7 if they really struggle down the stretch. But remember, too, the thing we can't necessarily quantify is that they are absolutely going to be a team that is going to get analyzed by the committee based on whether Duke Miles and Frankie Collins are playing once they enter the tournament, because, I mean, that's a significant group of games that those guys have been out for. So, oh, are you muted, Max?
That is also true. I would actually bump it up. I would go ceiling is 2, floor is 5. On Bracket Matrix right now, which was updated late yesterday, Vanderbilt is the second 4 right now, only behind the Zags. And a bracket matrix actually gives you the seed that Vanderbilt got for every bracket that is put into their composite. And the lowest seed for Vanderbilt is a 5. There's a good amount of 4s and there's a good amount of 3s. So I actually think that they're more so a 3/4 than a 4/5 right now as it sits. And the Zags have been looking terrible. And then it just turns into, okay, well, who are the 3s and 2s? You got your Nebraska, Kansas, Purdue, Michigan State kind of Florida group, maybe a little bit of Illinois as well. And it's just a matter if those teams lose and Vanderbilt wins to jump up. But I think Vanderbilt's a pretty comfortable 4 right now.
Yeah, I could see it. I mean, if we're just basing it on, remember, they are number 15 in the net right now. I mentioned more quad 1 wins than any SEC team. The combined quad 1 and quad 2, they still lead the SEC overall in the country. Quad 1 wins, they're tied for 4th most with Kansas, Purdue, and Houston. It's a nice group to be joined in. So, I mean, that's notable. So that's definitely helping out a lot. So in the remaining schedule, home against A&M, at Missouri, home against Tennessee, home against Georgia, at Kentucky, at Ole Miss, at Tennessee. So there's no bad games in there except for Ole Miss on the road, which even then, Ole Miss right now in the net is probably not in a great spot, but they are 80th. So really just need Ole Miss to win a few games here before you play them, and if they do that, you're probably still okay, even if you were to lose that one. So, but you got to win.
Yeah, we right now just in the 4, 5, 6, and 7 seed range. It's like half the league. There's a lot of SEC teams that are projected to land right in that little. We might have a good 12 seed, or we might have 2 SEC. Right now, there's 2 SEC teams that are projected to be 5, Alabama and Tennessee. And I assume after Arkansas's win, they might jump up there as well. There is an opportunity out there where the SEC has 3 out of the 4 5 seeds for the classic 5-12 nightmare
Please,
spot.
no. Yeah, I was going to say, what the story is going to be if that happens.
Absolute nightmare.
Either the SEC is going to be, again, a jumbled mess, maybe everybody's seeded from 3 to 9, which means there's so much room for error there.
Yeah.
And the SEC, goes 2-8 in the first round, or the SEC goes 8-2 in the first round and sends 6 to the Sweet 16, and all of a sudden we're back. But it's going to be one of the two. I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. It's going to be pure chaos, no matter what. So,
if there is a mid-major that you like as an upset team, just accept in your brain that they're playing an SEC team. The SEC is getting Miami. They're getting St. Louis. We're getting all these. We're getting Akron, Belmont.
The SEC is going to be. Yeah, we're going to try to reverse mojo this thing. We're going to send the Mountain. We're going to give the Mountain West the best first round record in the history of the conference, just to try to reverse the mojo.
The 2026 SEC single-handedly reverses the fade to Mountain West in the first round. That's been.
I don't want to say it, but I have a strong opinion about that statement. I'm not going to say it out loud though, because I don't want to put anything into the universe. So, yeah.
Isn't this just great that we can talk about March Madness like it's not some joke 5 months away? Best time of the year.
All right. Tim's here with a $2 super chat. The streak continues. Tim says there's 156 people watching, 31 likes. Come on, chat. Be better.
Get him, Tim.
Look at Tim. Tim's like, it's a Wednesday morning. What are we doing here? We're all watching some SEC basketball discussion, and we're not hitting the like button. What is up with that? So,
Lord Withrow trying to speak it into existence. Kentucky against 32-0 Miami, Ohio.
No, you know what they'll do? They'll bring back. They'll put Kentucky against whoever it was. Who did Kentucky play that year? Wichita State. Am I remembering it right? Or whatever.
Ron Baker, the basket maker.
Give Kentucky the hardest possible draw you can find. Good television. All right. Okay. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, Sean brought up earlier. Great night if you're a Gator fan.
Yes.
Upsets by TCU and Miami, and Illinois losing moves the Gators up to now in the top 5 in KenPom. And as we said, if you keep doing the Torvik filter, Max, I mean they're still top 2 in the past month or whatever behind Houston. So yeah, so Florida's in a good spot.
Poor Illinois, the Fighting Illini. Saturday and then Tuesday, one day off against Michigan State and Wisconsin, back-to-back overtime losses. And it's life in the Big Ten this year. Top to bottom, SEC might be analytically the best, but my Elite Eight is going to be full of Big Ten teams. Full of Big Ten teams.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to Dougie, new member here at the channel. That may be an upgrade. I'm not sure. It didn't show us, but hopefully, if you remember, you've now upgraded to the MVP or Legends tier because that does get you all of our fine bonus content here as well. Holly says, looks like we got some new viewers with the Purdue versus Nebraska prediction. We did. We picked up quite a few subs from our Purdue-Nebraska breakdown. So for all of you out there who are like, stick to the SEC, stick to the SEC, we're not going to do that. So sorry. It's March almost, and we're going to probably be covering a pretty good chunk of the tournament overall. So you're going to see more of this, and my advice is if you don't want to see it, then guess what? Unsubscribe. It's that simple. Like, unsubscribe and just come to the channel when you want. But you're probably going to be seeing more coverage college basketball-wise as we get closer to the tournament outside the SEC. So,
plus, how can you not? It was 80-77 overtime game. The vault was rocking. Rink mast.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We're not going to apologize for enjoying college basketball. So, all right. What else you got? Anything else? Oh, Justin asked about Tyler Tanner, first team All SEC. Justin, I'll say this: if Tyler Tanner's not first team All SEC, they shouldn't do a vote anymore.
Jeez, yeah.
I'd say right now, if you're locking in spots on first team All SEC, Tyler Tanner's a lock. Darius Acuff's a lock. I think Tommy H is a lock. I mean, LeBaron Philon's probably close to a lock. And then I'm like, maybe it's a toss-up for that other spot. I just don't see any of those guys playing their way out of this. So
I think I think one, maybe two spots are still up for grabs in my mind.
We'll see.
I'm trying to look right now through.
All right, listen, Max. Here's what we're gonna do. There's a comment here from Brian. All right, Brian says they need to let Blake and Max do the TV play-by-play on Saturday. I want you to give me 1 minute, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm coming right back. Keep that thought that Brian just has. I'll be right back. Discuss this player of the year or first team All SEC conversation.
Okay. While you guys are doing that, I'm looking through the slate tonight for tournament watch, for bubble watch. So we've got New Mexico, who was on the, I think, next 4 out. So they're in that, right now they're in that first 8 that are on the outside looking in. They are a plus 1.5 point underdog on the road at Grand Canyon. 10 p.m. Eastern on FS1. The late night special there. Lobos against, what's Grand Canyon's logo? Oh, man, I should know that. That's bad. Aren't they the Lopes? They're the Lopes, I think. Okay, getting off track here. But so Texas, Mizzou, keep an eye on New Mexico. You are big Grand Canyon fans tonight to try to get just one more team out of that bubble picture. Santa Clara, they're a 12-point favorite at home, but still, it's another team to keep an eye on right around that bubble conversation. Cincinnati is not in the bubble conversation, but they've been playing better as of late. They've got some good Big 12 wins. They're on the road, 2.5 point underdog at Kansas State. And then other than that, I think that's pretty much the bubble watch for tonight. Seton Hall is the other one. Seton Hall is going to be about a minus 4.5 point favorite at home against Providence. They're also with New Mexico in that next 4 out. So I'd say really the two big ones for bubble teams to watch tonight. Seton Hall at home against Providence. You are Friars fans tonight. And then the late night special, New Mexico at Grand Canyon, rooting for Grand Canyon to make a little bit more room for Missouri and Texas there on that bubble. So that's your bubble watch for tonight.
That was tremendous. I was listening to all that.
There you go.
Okay. So before we hop off, Max, first of all, how about this? All right, this is number one. We got more. Okay, you want me to do a little unboxing right now? I haven't opened this from Icon Wallets.
That's
you
a nice
unbox
box.
this live on the air. All right.
Keep the box. Keep the box.
All right, ready? Ooh, here we go.
Okay.
South Carolina.
Nice.
LSU.
All right.
What else we got here? What is this? Is this a tiger? Oh, almost dropped it. Tiger? Looks like a tiger, huh?
I didn't know they offered this.
This is great. Got a little that.
What do we got there? A little golf?
I think so. Yeah.
right.
You guys are just getting this live on the air here. Now, for the grand reveal from Icon Wallets. By the way, this is the appetizer. I got something else for you guys here.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
what are you up to over here?
Look at this little Icon Wallets. Look at this little good stuff. Put the little pins on there. Tremendous.
Nice.
Tremendous stuff from our friends. Exactly, Sean says. Clark is the gift that keeps on giving the whole year. However, Brian brought up earlier about the play-by-play.
Yes.
Max and I have debated some things for a bit here, and Brian may have been onto something because I'm going to show you something that we may be up to here. You see this little thing right here? You see this right there? There may be a little potential play-by-play color analyst production coming from Southeastern 16 when it comes to SEC basketball. We've got some ideas we've been working on. Boy, if you've seen, never mind. It's going to be something. So, all right. Anyways,
I don't know how you guys would find it. You'd have to know my alma mater, and you'd have to know what seasons I called. But in the depths of the internet, in the depths of YouTube, there are double-digit Max Barr play-by-play highlights out there on YouTube. I had to make like play-by-play highlights for one of my my thesis my senior year, but they're out there if you can find them.
They are, and you're going to get more of these coming soon. Max Barr on the play-by-play. No, Holly, sorry. Max is going to be play-by-play. I will be the color analyst.
Yes.
That is how it's going to go. But of course, Sam's over here saying you cannot broadcast a game without express consent. If Sam thinks we're actually going to broadcast a game, Sam just does not know us well enough. We've got some ideas.
Have consent.
We also know what we're doing here. So you may be in for some entertainment here over the next little bit. We'll find out. Also, Wildcat said Blake got a job at McDonald's because of this, the way this thing looks here. So
that was my first ever job. 16-year-old Max Barr.
How about that?
Yep.
Learn something new every day. All right. There you go. Some fun on the way out. Maybe a little play-by-play commentary coming soon here at Southeastern 16. We have some fun with this. Any other questions here? We got another minute. We'll jump off.
Holly did have a fun one. If we wanted to. Wow, where was it? Darn it! Oh, no, it was Justin. Who are the best lower mid-major teams? Goes to High Point right away. If you haven't watched the Red Hawks and what Travis Steele and company are doing, they play fantastic. They remind me a lot of FAU from Dusty May's Final Four year. They just don't have the 7-foot Golden locking it down inside, but they play like 4 guards. They'll play a guard at the power forward position, and man, their offense is just elite. They have probably the worst strength schedule I've ever seen in my whole life, but If you haven't watched Miami, they're a ton of fun to watch.
Yeah, they are a lot of fun to watch, and I know that's why we joke about Sam, but he's like, please don't let Tennessee get Miami. I would probably agree with that. I just think the way they shoot the ball, there's some of those games where if you're worried about your team going on an offensive slump, yeah, maybe an issue. So,
Pooh Bear says he found found the play-by-play.
Oh yeah, it's findable. Go find it. So, yeah, we've discussed some ideas. Like, obviously, we're not going to be able to show you the game on the screen or anything, but like we have some ideas that we will eventually give you more details.
A little work in progress. We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there. All right, we're off here. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, good to see Brian back here. Brian said after Kentucky beat us at home, had to take the week off. Back-to-back road wins, back, ready to go. So we appreciate that. So, all right. We appreciate you guys, of course, as always. Check out our predictions for tonight's games. Those are up on the channel. We will have more predictions coming up for other games outside the SEC. It's kind of the featured games as well, so you can either watch them or not. We appreciate the support of the channel. And check out our baseball stuff coming up today. Sam Smith will enjoy a certain interview that the guys are working on today for baseball. And, yeah, we will have a lot more here on the channel.
I got one question before we go out for you and the chat. We got 4 games tonight.
Mm-hmm.
All 4 single-digit spreads. Who do you think is going down on any given Wednesday in mid-February, right when you think, yeah, I think all 4 of those teams are going to win, when the night before we had one underdog win, Vanderbilt. You got Florida minus 9.5, Alabama minus 6.5, Tennessee minus 7.5, Texas A&M minus 7.5. You're telling me it's just so simple that all 4 of those win with ease? I don't think so. Chris has got Bama on the road against Ole Miss. A little flashback to last year at home. Got A&M. Well, they're favored. Mizzou beating A&M.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. I mean, Missouri's probably the best choice, but for whatever reason, that Tennessee-Mississippi State game worries me a little bit. But Mississippi State's just not. They've gotten beat by a ton of points the past 2 games at home. So, I don't know.
There's something in my gut. I don't know if it was the chicken cutlets that I had last night or what, but something is telling Max, Josh Hubbard is going to do something tonight. Josh Hubbard is going to do something. It's just a feeling inside me. I don't know. Gut's been off lately.
I don't know. That's the one that just stands out more so than the other 2, but you never know. It's the SEC, and the chances of one of those teams losing, I think, is pretty decent. So, all right.
We'll see.
You guys also pretty decent here at the channel. We appreciate you. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button on your way out. It helps us out. Remember, join the membership tier. That gets you the weekly bonus content. We'll have our predictions live tomorrow for all the big Saturday games and what a slate it is on Saturday. So, again, hop on in, be a member, join the MVP and Legends tier, and you get all of our bonus content as well. So, all right. We appreciate you guys watching. As always, we'll talk to you soon here at Southeastern 16, presented by FanDuel.